Hi, my name is Ken Rosenthal, and I'm a park naturalist here at Gulf Branch Nature Center, and this is another 5-minute find. I'm back in the pond today, and you might think it's a cold day for that, and it is. It is pretty cool today, even with the sun out. But what I'm finding is one of our earliest wildflowers already starting to pop up, and unfortunately for this wildflower, it's still pretty wet in our pond. So I want to give you a little peek at who I'm seeing and share some thoughts about skunk cabbage. So this year our pond water is really high. We've actually had a pretty good amount of rain in the past month, and so the water levels are high. And so where our skunk cabbage usually grows is actually underwater. And there's our little skunk cabbage right there. Okay, so skunk cabbage comes out early in the spring, although this isn't considered spring, it's obviously winter. It's much earlier than most spring wildflowers. And the way that it survives, the adaptations it has, is it can actually generate through a cellular respiration a temperature inside of the flower that can be 15 to 35 degrees centigrade higher than its surroundings. This probably helps it release its smell. It gets its name skunk cabbage from when you break a leaf or tear a leaf, you get a very pungent smell. And that pungent smell is also something that you'll find in the flower, and that probably helps attract its pollinators, which includes scavenging flies, stoneflies, and bees. It's not a very showy flower by any means. And that temperature also probably helps attract the pollinators inside, because it's warmer once you get inside. It can probably help increase pollination by allowing them to stay in there longer, even though it's so cold out. They can use the inside of the plant essentially as a respite from the cold winter weather. So again, this is a skunk cabbage, just a nice simple find. It's always surprising how much earlier it comes up, and maybe later on, if I'm able to get this guy above water, we could actually put a thermometer in and see how the temperature inside is different from the air around it. It's always kind of fun. But right now it's underwater, so I don't know that we're going to get a very good reading out of it. Well, thanks for joining me today. Skunk cabbage is one of those organisms that's still busy and active during the winter months. Sometimes I think a lot of people think that there's not a lot going on in the winter months. As I was standing here getting ready to videotape, I saw some tadpoles, some back swimmers, lots of little critters moving in the water. Of course, not as soon as I started videotaping, but the pond is a very busy place, even when there's ice over it. So, you know, if you're down here at the park and you stop by, just take a second to keep an eye on the water and see what's going on inside there. Thanks for joining me again for another 5-minute find. I hope you'll come visit us at the Nature Center, check out the pond, come back in the spring when the skunk cabbage, it's out of bloom, but when the leaves start coming up, it'll be pretty obvious which one's the skunk cabbage in the pond. It'll only be 2 or 3 plants, and they'll look like big cabbage plants with really big leaves. So thanks again. We'll hope to see you at some future 5-minute finds, and hopefully, eventually at the Nature Center and the park and at some of our programs. Thanks, and have a good one.